Nollywood actor. We're going to ask a few questions, and then you get to understand why we have this platform and know what it takes to get to Nollywood. This is Rejoice Ifunanya. So Rejoice Ifunanya, welcome to this wonderful platform. We are hoping and believing that you are going to give us a proper perspective. We are hoping you are going to give us proper perspective and insight on how you got into Nollywood. So for the viewers, we have really introduced, but I want her to tell us her name so that you will hear from the horse's mouth.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Rejoice Ifunanya. I'm from Enugu State and an upcoming actor.
Rejoice Ifunanya, we know you've had a whole lot of pedestrian before you came into Nollywood, and there are some rough movements you've gotten yourself into. But before I ask you which area in Nollywood you are, I would like you to give us a little perspective, a little insight about what you understand about Nollywood, on your own little understanding. What do you understand by Nollywood?
Nollywood, in my own understanding, is a place where one showcases of talent, career, that to inspire people and to make a living.
All right, I really understand where you're coming from when we talk about inspiring people, making a living. Nollywood, people understand that it's an entertainment industry. It is a place where you really get informed, you get educated.
Hollywood, in my own understanding, is a place where one showcases of talent, career, that to inspire people and to make a living.
All right, I really understand where you're coming from when we talk about inspiring people, making a living. Nollywood, people understand that it's an entertainment industry. It is a place where you really get informed, you get educated, and you get acquainted with craft. Craft in the sense that it's either you belong to, there are two groups in Nollywood, or more than two groups, but we understand that we have actors and we have crew members. We don't know where you belong, whether you belong to the, like you said, an upcoming actor, because we know that there are people that are into acting and also into crew work. So we don't know whether you are into crew work at the same time into acting.
For now, I belong to the acting class group. For now, well, in future, I might be interested in crew, but for now, I focus on acting.
All right, can you tell us some of the challenges you've met as an upcoming actor? Some of the things you've seen on set that really deterred you, that really disdain you, that really made you to say, I shouldn't have. A lot of people do see such a situation and say, let me go back. This is very difficult for me. And so what are the things you've seen so far, some of the constraints?
Thank you very much for the question. Challenges, yes. I face so many challenges. Acting. Number one is you go to set, sometimes DOP will not come. Or they will say, DPO is missing, we can't find him.
You mean DOP?
Sorry,
all right.
DOP is missing, we can't find him. You will spend the whole day, throughout the whole day, not do anything. Then you go back to where you're coming from. The next day you will come, they will seek for another excuse. Sometimes rain will delay the work, or it has denied the work for the day. Sometimes I get pissed off. I was like, no, I'm tired of all this, but sometimes I still say no. I'm determined to do this, and I have to focus. So all of them are challenging because it's not easy. I wait like me. I came all the way from Ansha to Asaba sometimes. So coming from Onitsha in the morning, come throughout the whole day, you not do anything, you not achieve anything, you still go back to Onitsha. The next day you spend your transport, you risk on the road and everything, you come again, nothing. So that's the challenges I do face sometimes, but I thank God for it.
All right. These most of these challenges are they are man-made. Some of them are natural. Like I do understand from different angles. People that I've interviewed on this particular such platforms. Have you had any best moment in your acting career since you started? Have you had any best moment?
Shooting with the good people, especially the good director that plays when shooting. There are people you meet when they are directing you, you really enjoy the job. There are some people you also meet when you're working with them, you feel tired and in fact you regret coming into the industry. But me, my best moment is when I'm into character. Thank you so much.
All right, I can understand some of the things you've seen as a result of acting, some of the best moments, like you said. But what really inspired you? Because I don't really believe that you can just wake up in the morning and say you want to be an actor. Hey, equally know you've seen a whole lot of directors. Can you mention some of the directors you've worked with and what is like their input towards you?
Yeah. The first director I worked with is Ifeanyi Azogo, and I really like him and I appreciate him because whatever I know or what I know or where I am today, I still thank him because I learned a lot from him the first day I met him and the first day I worked with him. He's a man that will teach you how to understand your script, how to swallow it like food, digest it and bring it out, and to make a very good meaning and create something with it. I really appreciate working with him, and I wish to work with him especially.
So what really inspired you? Let me just, what really inspired you into acting?
Thank you very much. What inspired me is my childhood block closely drama. I do drama with them. They always call me when they are up to and they are shooting or they are acting drama. Secondly, I love watching Miss Johnson. I love that one so much. Her acting inspired me so much to join Nollywood because I wish to be like that.
Have you, a lot of people said they've been harassed sexually and their money issues. Have you come across such things?
Well, everybody with his or own challenges, but me, I haven't experienced such. But all I have to say to people listening to me now, or people that wish to join Nollywood listening to me now, if you want to join Nollywood, please believe in hard work because hard work pays. Hard work, don't believe in paying for script or giving yourself out for script. No. But believe in hard work, focus, and believe one day God will announce your name.
Viewers, you can understand she's making a point. It's not easy. Rejoice Ifunanya has really passed through a lot, and I think there are a lot of things you are still going to pass through, a lot of hurdles she's still going to pass through because from what she's saying, she's not yet a superstar. She wants to be a superstar. There are a lot of hurdles. So it is good you are watching King Chuski TV so that there are a lot of things you are going to hear and a lot of things that are going to inspire you. One of the people I asked questions about Nollywood, one of them told me that one thing that inspired him so much is watching good speakers, listening to them, reading educative programs, looking at perspective and actors, the way they introduce themselves, the way they speak, the way they talk, the way they internalize. These are the things that inspire some of them, and she has come up with something like she has been watching Mrs. Johnson, and each time she watched Mrs. Johnson, she get inspired. And during the drama group in Block Roses, she got inspired. And I would want you also to keep watching and always try as much as possible to subscribe to King Chuski TV so that you get more of our programs. It's just Journalist Hangout, Nollywood Hangout. Keep on watching us. We still have more to access. So, Rejoice Ifunanya, what apart from acting, is there anything you do to augment acting? In case if it didn't favor you, in case if you're not a superstar, because I understand that a lot of people in Nollywood, not all of them are superstar, and so some of them are doing some other thing to help themselves. So in case acting doesn't favor you, is there another thing you want to do, or is there another thing you are adding up to with acting?
Yeah, that's what you shoot it for. You do not see the face of it. So the only thing you know is that you should focus on your talent, be prayerful, and be focused. One day, God will answer your prayer and you'll be one of the celebrities. That's all I have to say. say about it. Thank you, sir.
All right, my viewers, we've heard from her. I want to specifically thank you for listening to us, and don't touch that guy. Make sure you subscribe to King Chusky TV. It is something very exclusive, something very wonderful you're going to see from that channel. And we have other people we're going to interview today regarding this particular hangout. You've heard from her, and I must have to tell you that Nollywood is something that is in-depth. It's an in-depth industry. It is a conglomerate. It is ministerial. It is something you need to take your time and ask yourself questions if you want to be a member of Nollywood. You don't just wake up in the morning. Something must have inspired you. For those of them who have asked questions, they've told me a lot of things they've passed through before they became actor. It is not easy. But one thing I understand specifically so well is there is no sector in life that there is no sacrifice. There are sacrifices. It depends on how you pilot your own sacrifice. It depends on how you move your sacrifice. It depends on how you share your sacrifice. But in all sectors of life, there are sacrifices. So do not be disdained, not be deterred, not be weighed down for sacrifices. But the most important thing is to work hard and then present yourself as a frontier. Present yourself as somebody who is productive, who is ready to work. Craft work is very sweet. I know a director who loves directing. Whenever he's directing, he's very, very happy. And it's something everybody should put into consideration, that you must have to live up to expectation. Don't get distracted because somebody else went there and couldn't go far. You do not have the same talent. You do not have the same prospect in life. You do not have the same individualistic tendency. You do not have the same face value. We have our different talent and different destiny. So I urge you to keep watching King Chusky TV. There are a lot of things that are going to come up on this particular platform, things that are going to energize you, things that are going to admonish you. But first and foremost, I urge you to always make your bed properly before you lie on it. And how do you make that bed? Things that are going to inspire you, like listen to good speakers, make some improvisation, make some ad-lib in filmmaking, and get inspired by your icon. Prepare yourself, listen to people that are talking when they're talking and know exactly what they're saying, so that those things can contribute and form part of your life. I thank you very much for listening to us, and I thank you immensely because it's not easy. This is King Chusky TV, a very wonderful platform you can always look up to. Rejoice, thank you for coming. We hope to see you next time we call upon you on this particular platform. And we also want you to disseminate information out there to people that it pays to work hard. Work hard pays, and there is no way you can move. If you want God to move, we need to move. So God bless you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much.
We are still on King Chusky TV, and we are here today. Like I said, we want to run into Nollywood prospect and perspective. We have a very wonderful person in our midst who is also a Nollywood filmmaker, and like I said, it's something that you should encroach in, something you should endeavor to listen and watch at any given time to know some of the goodies we have for you on King Chusky TV. I told you, keep on subscribing to that, keep your comment positive, and see how it comes. We believe at the end of the day it's going to be something entitled. Today we have a very good brother, a Nollywood producer. Well, probably, I don't know, maybe he's going to tell you more. A Nollywood producer in the name of King Chuks Iwerebo.
Yeah, my name is Chuks Iwerebo. I'm from Dog State. I'm a movie producer, an actor, and a scriptwriter.
All right, Mr. Chuks, I don't know how you are going to combine, I don't know how you are combining these 30 things together. You are a producer, you are an actor, a scriptwriter. That means holistically, you are an embodiment of Nollywood. That's what it means.
Thank you, sir.
All right, can you give us, I know your perspective into Nollywood is going to be so horizontal, so expedient, so embedded, so that people will understand what Nollywood entails, what it means. Because for you to be a producer, you're a scriptwriter, you're an actor, that means all round. You understand some of the gimmicks, some of the interpretations, and some of the things that are embedded in Nollywood. So can you give us a little perspective in Nollywood?
Nollywood, as I see it, is a community. It's a body. Nollywood is a brand. It's a place where an individual can come and settle. You'll invest, you get your money back. It's a place where you can choose. It's a department you can choose as a career. Like what I see Nollywood to be is a place where you put in, you get back what you put in, and get more of what you put in. So filmmaking, for me, is a business. Filmmaking is a place where life in general can be interpreted. You see yourself as a filmmaker. Sometimes you portray some certain things that you may not be. So Nollywood is a body, is a community. That is some other form of purpose. A producer is that person who calls the artist, the director, every members of the crew. You negotiate with them. You, even the production manager, you manage everybody on set to ensure that you did not spend beyond the budget. You have the plan, the period you want to shoot. You have to make all your plans down. That is a producer.
All right, from what you're saying, sir, you specifically talked about producing. It simply means by specification and specialization, you are a producer, and that is where you have anchored holistically. What are the processes one could follow to become a producer?
Number one, being a producer, one has to be trained in a good process. You don't just wake up one day and say you are a producer. Because being a producer, you are handling the financial aspect of filmmaking. And because you're handling the financial aspect of filmmaking, you must have a little idea in the various areas in filmmaking, and then you must have the strength of negotiation, so you don't run into loss when investing.
All right, can you just help us name one or two films you've produced? Probably the one you produce and the one you associate produced. Can you just, because I was told that there are aspects of producing. Is either you're an associate producer, or you are a producer, or you are a co-producer. Can you just throw more light on this aspect of producing? And they tell us if you have produced any of the films, and the films you produce, what are their names, and then quickly let us understand what are the differences when it comes to, because I've heard it from a lot of people when they say associate producer, producer, executive producer, co-producer. So can we just know?
Okay, some of the movies that I produced, my first film I produced was 210. It's titled Unlimited Denial. It was shot partly in Edo State and partly in Delta State. The second movie I produced was titled Dangerous Gift. It was shot in Akisaba, Delta State. And other films that I produced. There's some films, other films I produced for people, which I am not classified as associate to whoever I produce it for. Gods and Contest, Seed of Light, Trust of Love, Move Contest, and some other movies that I produced for people. Now, talking about a producer, associate producer, executive producer is a person who is investing. He may know or may not know about filmmaking. He's a businessman. He brings the money, you shoot for him or her. What the person is after is a return. That is what the person is, just an investor. Now, a producer, when your name appears as a producer in a movie, it means you invested in that film and equally produced the movie. You invested in the film, you do the activity. You can also, your name can appear as a second producer even when you did not do anything, because of the legal rights of filmmaking, because the law recognizes the producer. The law does not know executive producer. Now, an associate producer is that person who money is handed over to. Go and invest this money for me, and you gather everybody, getting a script, call director, call everybody, and put on the film.
All right, Mr. Chooks, you've really spoken much on this production issue. From your perspective, one will understand that you experienced enough to digest Nollywood hangout. And there was something you said when you started. You said a producer is somebody who has a negotiating power. It simply means that most of the actors and the crew members that are going to be hired or employed in any production rest mostly on the producer. Can you tell us some of the challenges you've passed through, some of the constraints you've gotten yourself into in terms of hiring people to be in a movie, both the crew members and the actor?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges that I have faced. Let me start with my first film. The first movie I produced in 2010, I actually allowed my director to run my position. And at the end of the day, I discovered that there were a lot of financial misunderstanding between me and my director, where somebody will come and meet me. What is my balance? Where is my money? And from discussion, we discovered that I am paying double of what the person is charged. Then I now began to do the negotiation myself. But I discovered that when negotiating yourself as a producer, probably you want to call an artist. Let me give an example of Nancy Jackson as a case study. You don't have an idea of what she collects. A lot of person will come up who doesn't know anything about artist fee. Will be calling some money that can make one happy. Yes, some artists are collecting 10 million, 4 million, 5 million. And the person could be 300,000.
Well, asking you what really inspired you in the areas of endeavors in Nollywood.
Yeah, what actually inspired me was when I was growing, I found myself in a drama unit in my church. I was so encouraged by members of the church. They give me that courage that if you enter the Nollywood, you're going to make it. So from there, I went to school, I found myself in the drama unit in my school. I was the vice president then in Nollywood Polytechnic. So when I came back, there was this program I was running in EBS, Edo Broadcasting Service. So my little nephew told me about it. He even copied out the phone number in that program. I said, register. It was supposed to say, register. I know you make it. So I took the number, I called the young man. His name is Jasper J.K. Okorafu. He was the producer and the director of that production. The company name is Jet Company. So I was not having cash. I met my mom. She gave me money, 7,005. I registered under the company at that time. He trained us in acting, continuity, and what I enjoyed most was the area of the continuity. He so much analyzed it very well. So I really enjoyed it. Towards then I became an actor in that platform. I did a movie with them. It was one scene that I played. So we went for that production. There was this girl called Doris. Doris was talking about how she went to a location in Asaba. She was to do a film, and the director asked a girl not to get put on a trouser. The girl said she cannot put on a trouser because she's a Christian, and the girl was casted, and the role was given to another person. And the role was given to another person. So after she finished her story, she sat down and I hurried to her. No, excuse me. She thought I actually was calling for a relationship. I said, no, I'm here for a business. But she gave me a contact. The person that gave me the contact happens to be an HN prison in that state at that time. I approached him, he told me to register, and I registered. After the registration, I went to another person. Just told me that first one was fake. And I paid another money because I was desperate. I actually wanted to achieve this dream. I paid another money. Then after that period, another group came again. When they were to do election, I said that the working permit they give to me was fake. But I have to pay. I told them I cannot pay again. But if at all, I cannot pay again. They should have a way of disciplining members who are extracting money from people who are actually intending to join. It's not encouraging. There should be a constitution for that. So I refused to pay. that was what inspired me to be a producer. I was like, I can start on my own. From then, I began to think and plan how to start. And that also reminded me when I met Chika Ono. He was also encouraged me that being an actor is not just it. I should have something to do in the crew department. I told him I'm a scriptwriter. I showed him my script. He asked me that I should look for money and produce. The money he got at that time was too big for me, even to sort for another. But I tried all I could do to get money at that time. It could not work out until I was able to do my first one. The first one I did was 210, like I said before. That movie, Unlimited Naira, I did not plan for that film. But I found myself doing it, and at the end of the day, the movie came out well. So, these were some things that inspired me about filmmaking. And there were these people that I loved watching them when I was growing. I began to watch him. The person that I loved so much was Francis Du, the Mercury King, and Pat Atta. They inspired me a lot.
You're talking about producers, and I asked you questions regarding those areas, and at the same time I said, are you saying that all producers are not filmmakers? I don't know if I am right, so that you can put me through.
Yeah, I said so. It's not as if they are not filmmakers, because that is the field they belong to. But I'm talking about their view, some person's mentality.
Can you hold on a minute? Let us go for a quick break right now. There are people that are sponsoring this particular program, so we need to energize them. We are still on Kinchuski TV, still talking with our producer here, but we want you to understand that that diet should not be touched. Do as much as possible to subscribe to that particular platform. It is holistic, it is professional. Keep your comment positive, as we're going to come back to this particular platform to let you know much about what our guest is talking today on Nollywood. This is Nollywood Hangout, and God bless you as you keep subscribing to this particular channel. And Mr. Chus, I bought it when you were trying to explain more about not all producers are filmmakers. Can you please proceed?
Yes, not all producers are filmmakers, in the sense that every individual has different focus, different motive. Now, myself as a producer, filmmaking, like I see filmmaking, I began to say that filmmaking is a business. Filmmaking is a community. Filmmaking is a body where you can be self-employed. Now, I spent an example with someone who I met. This guy told me, I asked him the question, how many films have you produced? He said, 10 movies. I said, these 10 movies, where and where, which of the platform has your movie gone to? But they're my cupboard. I was shocked. I said, why? You know, I see that person as somebody who just want to make awareness. I don't see that person as a producer. That is one. And secondly, why I will also say that all producers are not producers is that, number one, when you are a producer, you produce a film, you have that recognition that your film can be censored. There are some persons who are not recognized as producers in Nigeria because they do not belong to producers. By the time they shot their film and they submit their film for censorship, they say, they are such a person, even as a filmmaker. So I want to say, every producer that are filmmakers, number one, they have to follow the legal process of producing a movie. And number two, is you have that focus of, it's what I do for a living. This was bringing food to my table. How do I push this thing? How do I get this right? That is what I'm trying to define about what producers are.
All right, if I understand it clearly, you explained to us that not every producer is a filmmaker, depending on how some of them understand what production is all about. That a producer, for you to be called a filmmaker, you must be holistic. Holistic in the sense that all aspects of filmmaking, at least you should have about 60 to 70 to 80% knowledge about it. You should know it is not just to invest your money and sit down without knowing how the movie is going. You should know much about the directorial aspect of it, and have knowledge about it, have knowledge about the dicting, have knowledge about how to get into how to get into actors, bring them into table, and then other aspect of movie, you should at least know 50 to 60, 70% about it. That makes you a filmmaker. And people who do not understand this should also know it from you today, that if you want to be a filmmaker totally as a producer, that these are the things, that is a process you should pass through. And also you've narrowed it down that if there is a body that is handling this particular platform, which is called Association of Movie Producers. You've had it from the horse's mouth, just in case if you're not a member, you should go and register with them. Probably you can through your comment you can get him along. In fact, the person we're interviewing is one of the most outstanding, most brilliant mechanized member and a CEO of King Chukski Television, King Chukski TV. So there are other areas I am trying to grab. I'm still finding it very difficult. As a producer you are, have you had any challenges with directors or set when the director wants to superimpose his power as a director? Maybe a particular picture does not suit him because you're the producer and you want to step in as a producer because it's your money and this is what you want, and the director is looking at it from the picture point of view, it doesn't suit, and you yourself, you want it to come in. How do you harmonize these issues?
Thank you for this question. I think since I began to produce movies, I've always looked for directors that I can trust. There is this belief that I have naturally. I don't believe encroaching into someone's area in filmmaking. Before I will call you as a director, I must have gone through the profile. I must have known what you can do if I invite you as a director. It was only one director that I called one certain time. That was my second movie. The movie I titled The Dangerous Fit. I called the director, he remembered the DOP. The DOP, I will mention his name. The director. So when they came, I did as I used to do. I give them that free run. I would just sit in, do your work as a director. And after the day one, they copied. I always preview my work. While I was previewing the work, I called the DOP. I was in his room. It was there we shot they were using a P2 HD camera then. I called him, I said, the picture I'm seeing here is too reddish. Why is it like that? He said the monitor is bad. I said the monitor is bad. He said okay, no problem. So the next day I have to follow them to set. When they were taking the interiors, one of the interiors, I saw the picture. I still called him, I said, you said the monitor in your hotel room was bad. And now this monitor again is not in your hotel. Why did you see this? So before I could know, they damaged the film. It's also bad as a producer, not being close to the director is very bad. The movie, as I'm talking to you, I printed the movie I could not sell it. When I disposed the movie, people were complaining of picture. And as a producer, I wanted to protect. By the time you're coming with something very bad, that is what we project in the market, and it becomes very bad. It becomes very negative to me as a producer. So that film was a loss to me. What I did was, I just said this director and this DOP for my life. Never since then, I've never called them. The funniest thing is that this young man that I called director has never produced a film. Has never directed a film till now that has been accepted in any of the market. It means me leaving him was not bad. Though somebody introduced him to me in that early stage as a beginner, as a beginner, one of the things that affects a lot of producers over economizing too much. So I was looking for who I will pay lesser and it cost me more. It should be better if I pay more and get results. But it went that way. The truth is that I don't mark my directors. I let you do try your best. If I see something that is wrong, I will call you. Sir, what are you trying to achieve? Look at. Maybe what I have in mind, you have a better idea. Fine. By the time I introduce my own to you, the director owns the picture of a film. Producer is always, as an employed director to direct for you, I will allow you to bring your best. But when I see that your best is not doing us well, there will be need for we to sit and meet. That is my own experience in that.
All right, you talking about dialogue. You said dialogue is one thing that can solve problem, even if there is oversight on set, and when producer is having issue with the director because probably the director is not getting it right. And the reason you know that the director is not getting it right is because you yourself is a filmmaker. Because there are other producers who are not filmmakers. They might not even know what the director is doing if the director is not getting it right. And I equally know that there are other crew members like continuity person who also watch directors oversight to remind the director that, oh, we've done this thing before, and if we're going to start here, you should look at this point. I've had something like that. But I don't know what really inspired you to be a filmmaker.
Yes, this is a very good question. In my, it's going to be a very long story somehow. When I was growing as a little boy, I so much liked acting. As a matter of fact, the church I'm going today, I joined that church because of drama. I went to an all night, I watched a drama, and I fell in love with acting. While I was doing that, I began to write. I'm not so strict, I was writing drama. So one day, I found myself in Nollywood where I schooled. I was the vice president of the drama leader in the campus. When I returned back, my little nephew called me. Said there was a program was running on television, PBS, I don't know service, that I should register as an actor in that platform. So when he told me that, I bought the idea. There was no one. I met my mom. She gave me 7,500. I registered on that platform. It was called Jet Company. The name of the producer and director then was Jasper Ejiko Korafo. I called him, he directed me, I registered. We went through training. The guy, he really trained us acting, trained on acting continuity. Where I enjoy more was continuity. I enjoy his continuity because then, after all the training, we did one film. That film, it was a scene that I did. While I was there, but there was something I saw the limitation. That if I remain there, I may not do that because filmmaking in Benin, it was in Benin, has a limitation. So, one day we went for a shoot. While we were there, there was a girl called Doris. So I just talked to him. He said, I went for a production in Asaba. While I was in that production, the director of the sect asked a girl to put on trousers. She refused that she's a Christian. And the girl was casted, another person took the role. And he said each of the scenes she played, they were paying her 10,000 naira, which I knew it was lying. As soon as the girl sat down, I excuse me, she was wanted to answer me. I said, hey, I'm not here for a relationship, I'm here for business. Give me the director's phone number. Give me the director's phone number. That happens to be HM president at that time. So I traveled from Benin down to Saba. I met with the director, he told me everything and I registered. So later I met another person, he told me that that show was fake. I paid another money because I was desperate. He invited me to, he introduced me to the person who told me that the first person I paid to was fake registration. And I paid to the second person, they give me working permit. No, then he has to do it, working permit.
Remember where?
They give me working permit. I was working with working permit. Later, some person came up again that the new one they give to me again is fake. I thought I cannot pay that one again. And the body should have way of disciplining people who are members of the body embezzling other people's money. That was what inspired me to be a producer. But I'm not going to pay again. Now, how do I stand on my own? That nobody will come there and ask me, what are you doing here? What are you doing now? Before then, I called Chika Ono. I told him, sir, I want to be an actor. I want you to help me into acting. Chika Ono told me something. He was the person who gave me this idea of, it is good you being in a crew as an actor, so as not only because growing becomes difficult, you can also earn some pay. Because as a crew, nobody invites you without paying you. But as an actor, you want to grow. You are desperate. You can be invited, not being paid. And when he told me this things, and he asked me, what can you do outside acting? I said, sir, I can write. He said, you can start with that. I met him. He encouraged me that I should look for means to get money and start producing. So when they told me that, but the money was calling for me at that time, it was too much for me at that my stage. So I sought for fun, the money did not come. Even when I shot my first film, I wasn't prepared for it. But it come and to it. So that what inspired me into producing. What inspired me into acting was the little that I was doing in the church. I had that encouragement in the church. Members telling me, you are good, you can go far, you can do this. So then I began to watch so many films. There are two actors I love watching that film when I was growing. Francis Duru, I love him so much. And Emeka, I was always watching these people's film. And I loved the way they were acting their film. Part actor was part of people who inspired me into
Honestly, you've taken us round about this program. I must tell you the truth that listening to you is a kind of overhauling, kind of letting people understand that really you understand what Nollywood entails. And anybody that's listening to you should also take his time and know that it pays to work very, very hard. You really work hard. You've lost a lot. And I know by the grace of God right now you are gripping it. You don't just wake up in the morning and say you want to become a filmmaker. There are processes one has to follow, which you have followed. And right now, I believe a lot of people in Nollywood must have known who you are as a producer, as an actor, and as a writer. And we so much want to thank you for coming. But before we leave you, we want you to give us your last comment, your advice to the viewers out there. Just make it short.
Yeah, good day everyone. As you all know, my name is Chukwusiwere. I want to advise you. A lot of person has called, a lot of person are chatting. I want to be an actor, I want to join Nollywood. It's a very good place to be. My advice for you is this: number one, before you come into the film industry, have a vision. Nobody, I repeat, nobody as a human can make you. God is there to make you. But you must help yourself. You must help yourself in the sense that you must be hardworking. They can't just give you script as an actor, you keep your script in the cupboard, you say I've memorized it. You must understand the story. There was this thing, there was one thing I read one time: it is good as an actor know what your director wants. Sometimes go to your director, D. What do you want me to do? What exactly do you want from this character? It should help you. So, I want to let you know this. I want to advise you, please. Focus. Depend on God. Be hardworking and always know that you can do it. God bless you.
Thank you, my viewers. We are still on King Chukski TV, and we just rounding up. We've discussed with our producer. In case you want to produce your own movie, you can look for him and see how he can best help you. We're going to keep his phone number on our screen so that you can always contact him for any production you want. Best for you, who is an upcoming producer. Upcoming in the sense that you need to pass through some tutelage, some individuals for you to be sharpened to understand what filmmaking is all about. And we've had it from him, and we still have some other prospects that are coming into this particular platform. We're going to ask questions to tell you more about Nollywood. Just keep dialing on this station. This is Nollywood Hangout. We'll be involving, people will be coming. Thank you for listening to us. This is King Chukski TV. Do not fear. Do not fear. to subscribe to this platform. We have a whole lot of goodies, a lot of Nollywood discussions, a lot of stars are going to be here from time, warrior time, from time to time to ask the questions. The favorable stars, those ones we like, those ones we don't feel like, you listen to them on this channel. We're going to be having this discussion from time to time so that you get to know much about Nollywood and the prospects and ways to follow. We've said it time without number that there are processes in life you need to follow for you to be who you want to be. God bless you as you keep on watching King Chusky TV. And it's not just because you are watching us before the camera. We have other people behind the camera that are doing this thing wonderful. Our cameraman Matthew, who is handling this camera properly, and we have our producer who is also for this particular. We have our directors who is also for this particular, and we say thank you for watching, and we hope to see you some other time. God bless you. Let's give him. We are still on this Nollywood hangout, King Chusky TV. We've been having interaction with different individuals in Nollywood. We believe that more prospects and more perspective is coming up. Discussions on what it entails to be in Nollywood is still going to be explored by different film producers, actors, whatever you can think of in Nollywood. We have another special guest in our midst who is going to give us throw more light in Nollywood perspective and thoughts, what he believes that one can do to alleviate Nollywood, to alleviate anybody who has come up to be engaged in Nollywood. He is in the person of Mr. Onyemechi Ozobiara. Okay, Mr. Onyemechi Ozobiara.
Thank you.
Mr. Onyemechi Ozobiara. You're welcome to this program.
Thank you, my brother.
Mr. Onyemechi, can you please tell us, just give us a little perspective of who you are, your profile?
All right. Good day, audience. My name's Onyemechi Ozobiara, aka Okito, known as Divine Link Movies. I hail from Anambra State, born and brought up in Lagos State. Currently in Asaba, and by the special grace of God, ahead.
All right. If I hear you vividly, you've given us a little bit insight of who you are, where you come from. So, what aspects of, if I may use that word, can you just tell us a little bit about Nollywood? What you see as Nollywood? What is your definition about Nollywood? Just throw a little bit, light a little bit about it.
All right. I think Nollywood is all about entertainment in Nigeria. It concerns movie making, whether you are a director, a producer, an actor, you are a member of Nollywood in Nigeria.
All right, understandably, we don't know how many years you spent years of your experience in Nollywood as producer and as a director. Can you please let us know?
All right, I joined the Nollywood in the year 1998. Experience in Nollywood, yeah, a lot, because even as a baby, you have to pass through a lot before you get to a particular position. My experience in Nollywood as an actor, I joined the Nollywood as an actor. That was in 1998. But I acted my first movie, Waka Pass, in 1999, January 1999. Then we didn't have anything like production houses as it is now. You need to walk with your leg. On a daily basis, when you're walking on the street, on the road, wherever you are, you're looking at the walls. Wherever you see a poster, you go close. There might be audition. You look at the poster, audition, notice, date, blah, blah, blah. No matter the distance, you must be there. So that's how we struggle in those days. We walk. Then there about 1999, ending and all that, I decided to join fully. And I registered myself under, I think, was it Ejika Sebuten or who? No, I don't think it's Ejika, either Remy or who. I don't know who was the Asian chairman then in Lagos State. Then we always assemble ourselves at Winnie's Hotel. But we hold our meetings where we call the National Theatre in Lagos State. So we have our meetings, register on the guilds. From acting, I switched to crew because one of our big costumier then, named by Andy Ike, a great costumier in the industry. She was my madam then. Coincidentally, she came to my shop to buy some wares for costume. So I noticed that she always comes to my shop to buy clothes. So I started asking her, do you say all these clothes? She said no. That she's into movie industry. Then at the time she bought some and she didn't pay all. She directed him to where I should come and collect the balance. Very early in the morning that day, I went there. It was a Winnie's Hotel. Again, I was like, oh, this is where actors normally gather. Because when you are going in the morning, you will see buses, about 4, 5, 6 buses with posters. I was like, what are these people doing here? So, but when I finally know what they were doing, when I finally know that these are movie people, I used to see the likes of Kemowo, many of them, that was Sophia. Go, I try to shake hands with him, you know. Then in the evening, on coming back, you see a lot of them. So at times I stop by, I park, I stop, we drink together, we eat together, we rejoice and all that. So many of them were telling me about movie industry. I had so many friends then when it comes to movie. I have so many of them. So in 1999, I acted my first movie with Mr. John Okafor, Mr. Ibu. Mr. Ibu, he actually called me. He actually called me in a production where I should come and help him as PA. He was then a production manager. So as a PA, I didn't know what he meant by PA. He was teaching me, telling me things to do. You know. Then I think he just moved in then too. So we are like novice in the system. We both came to act. So in that movie, I acted alongside with Mr. Ibu. That was 1999. The producer was from Ghana. The director was also from Ghana, if I'm not mistaken. So along the line, year 1999, I came in there from acting, enjoying the parole. So that day I went there, she didn't pay me the money, she asked me to come the next day that the producer did not pay her that day, the previous day. So the next day I went, she asked me to join them in the bus, in their location bus, that I should follow her to location, that they are shooting at First Stack, 23 Road. The film was, the producer of that movie was a Mekan, the fair Mekan, not the one with beard. So when we got there, I was like, wow, now so these people, they do this thing. So I started enjoying what I'm seeing. They were acting, cuts, pick up, freeze and all that. It was fun. It was fun. So I decided, I like this thing though, it's like I will join. It's like I will join. From there, that day, Andy did not still pay me. I followed her down to her hotel, help her offload her Ghana Must Goes of costumes. The next day, I went uninvited. She didn't invite me, but I went there. The third day, I think they needed cast, they needed extras. So I was picked up because they pick extras according to how you dress, depends on what they want to shoot. So that day I was picked by the PM. I think the PM was Ikechukwu Onyeka then. Just once in the college Waka Pass there. I did it and I was very happy. I said, wow, so this is how these people do this thing. I was very happy. I was like, wow. When I got home that day, I couldn't sleep. So now I can now appear on television. I started telling my friends, everybody that I've joined the industry or I've joined movie, or don't worry, the film will still come out to you, people see it. So that was how I joined the industry in 1999. Then from there, I started following Andy K, assisting her in some of our jobs. 1999, 2000, I became perfect in costume, working for Andy K, just like that. She came to buy a market from me. From going to draw my money, I became a costume assistant. From costume assistant, in 2001. Sorry, in that 2000, I was working with Andy K, Ngozi Obasi, Ushu Obiora, so many of them. What's her name? Ushe Nancy. I was working with all of them. Anyone that called me for a job, I will go, I will work, I get my money. So, but come 2001, Zakoji called me and said, Okito, if I give you a full script, can you break it down? I said, why not? Can you work costume on your own? I said, fine, yes, I can. And Zakoji gave me a script. I read the script. After reading it, I break it down. I sort out the costumes. I even sort out the props myself. He said, wow, how much will I take for this job? I told him. He said, no, let's do this. So that after some bargaining, we agreed on something. I started to work on my own as a chief costumier, not working for anybody anymore. I worked on my own. That was the first experience as a chief costumier. That was in 2001. Starting from there, 2001, 2002, I took props and costume, props and costume, props and costume. Then I shifted my mind from acting to crew angle. I became a crew. I registered with CDGN as a props manager and costume manager. 2002, 2003, 2004, works were coming as a costumier. As a, if I don't do props, I do costume. If I don't do costume, I do props. Then, in 2006, there was a job I did with Ndubisi Oko. May he so rest in peace. He called me as a director. I said, Kito, I see the way you hustle, I see the way you work. Why don't you follow me? Let's go and work. I said, in what aspect, sir? He said, you would do costume and also manage the job for me because I like the way you hustle. I said, okay, fine, sir. So in that 2006, I picked up an assistant. I had assistants before, but that particular job is a very big job. I was having about 4 or 5 jobs at hand then as a costumier. 4 or 5 jobs at hand. So I had to employ new assistants who will follow me to that job. That was in Lagos at Orile. We launched at Paris Hotel, Orile. So when we got to the location, I was calm. When we got to the camp, I was shown my room as a costumier and as a PA. From there, I discussed with individuals. I said, please, I want to join producing. He said, there's nothing there. He called his assistant. The assistant director was Bond Demerowa, thank you. He took me up as a producer. He told me the people I was to meet. He directed me to one Mr. Chris, I've forgotten, Chris Okuru or whatever, I've forgotten his surname. Very tall, black, dark. He took me to AMP one Thursday morning. I went there, they gave me a form, I paid a certain amount. After the registration, I have to wait for like a year, 2, before I got into the garment of producing. After the registration, I never produced any movie because I was like still like a baby in the industry then, but I want to pick up experiences from the angles and the platforms, knowing what they do and how they do what they do. So in 2006, 2008, I did my first job. I produced my first movie called The God's Mother. The God's Mother. After the job, 2009, I did another movie. In those days when you are producing, you have joy that you are making your money back. As you are shooting, the marketers will be standing, hanging around you, asking questions. Please, who is the owner of this job? Asking questions. Please, who is the director? Who is the owner? Who is the executive producer? They want to know the person. As you are shooting, even in day one, in day two, you are bargaining with the marketers to market your movie. So I was having the joy then. I had no option than to go to my shop, take money for my business, then came into the industry. That was in 2009. I made my first movie. I shot the movie. I sold it. I was happy. I made money. I said, wow, this is another world. Then, 2010, I did another movie called 2000. That inside that same 2009, I produced another movie called Spiritual Challenge. Spiritual Challenge, marketed by Izu. One Mr. Izu then. He came to my location. There were about 2 marketers that came around. So I saw him as a young guy. I discussed with him. The price was okay for me. I gave him the work. We marketed the movie. Though after then I discovered that if you are not wise enough, you're just working for the marketers then. But I followed him up. So that is how I became a producer. Then in 2014, I directed my first job. I didn't produce. I was called to direct. I went, I directed, the movie is in the market. It was in the market then. The movie came out. Like I said, when you are shooting movie then, marketers will be all around you, disturbing you. They want to market this movie, they want to see your script. Once they see your script, if it is okay, if the story is okay, they don't even ask you about camera, they don't ask you about picture and all that. Just give them. So that's how.
I was saying, we've seen the process you passed before you became a producer, and I know, like you said you're also a director. We also want to know the process you passed before you became a director. Do you belong to any of the guilds? Because from what we have gathered in Nollywood, we were made to understand that for you to be an actor, you must be a member of AGN, register with them. If you want to be a producer, you must be a member, which you have clarified. And anybody who is listening to you as a producer will know you are speaking as an authority. And now, let us go into the area of you as a director. You said, what are the processes you pass to become a director? And are you a member of Directors Guild of Nigeria, which we know that it is an umbrella that produce and galvanize Nollywood director? But there are also other avenues one can become a director, maybe probably like you going through school, reading, directing, which is also an affirmation of. So we want to know, is there any other process, and what are you telling the members when it comes to the issue of the platform on the area of directing?
All right, like I said earlier, when one picked me up, I worked with him. I worked with Ikechukwu Onyeka. That was in Lagos State. And then the guilds were just coming up. And then we attend our meetings as HUN in general. But when Bond picked me up, I picked up a form of Director's Guild of Nigeria. Then the price wasn't what it is today. We paid, we started attending meetings. Later on, there was an issue that came up with the guild. Then the guild split into two. don't know if you are aware of that. So there are some of us who decided to go either way. Either you go for DGN or the other way around. A lot of us then we are discouraged due to who will be who, and power causes and all that. If you are not strong enough, you give chance and allow them to do their thoughts. So in my own case, apart from the guild and the guilds in the church, I don't belong in any other guild. So there are so many people who belong in so many guilds, even outside the industry, who believe in their power, who believe in what their guilds can give them. Those are the people who continue the tussle. But people like us who are, let me just use the language, who are novice in terms of war and all that, we decided to give back. So since then, I've been working as a director, as a producer, and as an actor. That's what I'm about.
All right, you have a very powerful 3 platform, which is the focal point and the center of energizing when it comes to Nollywood. 3 powerful platform.
Yeah.
Can you let us into some of the films you've produced, the names of the films you produced, and the names of the films you've directed, so that we know?
All right. Like I said, in 2006, I produced a movie called The God's Mother. In 2007, I made a movie called The Thunder. In 2009 and 2008, I produced a film called Spiritual Challenge with the late Chief Justice Esiri, Ngozi Ezeonu, Nigerian movie and all that. These are my personal movies, all marketed by Mr. Isu Ojukwu. Then in 2010, I directed a movie for somebody, Mr. Ifeanyi, forgotten the name of the movie. We were working as partners. All his movie 2010 to 11, I directed all his movies, about 6 or 7 of them. Then come 2014, I did another movie on my own, The Return of the Thunders. Then 2017, I did another movie called Sarah's Song. 2020, I made a movie called Mr. Igbo Rice and Beans, which is in the market now. I made another movie called The Strikers, produced and directed and sponsored by myself. The Strikers, Mr. Igbo Rice and Beans, Village Millionaire, then I did another movie called, I think, still on the making now, not yet done, because I don't give name, I give name after shooting. So these are my movies and personal jobs I've done on my own.
You have quite a number of films you've produced and directed. Yeah. In my last discussion with one of our prospective Nollywood producer, I asked him a few questions on producing, and I told him a lot of people I see producing movies, but they are novice.
Okay.
Some producers are not filmmakers, but they produce, and he expressively told me that not all producers are filmmakers. Some just bring money and then give to somebody who is enlightened to produce a movie. and the person will be guided properly. But in your own case, you seem to have the same pedigree with the person, but that person is not a director. And I asked him, does it mean that every producer, from your own definition, is a filmmaker? He said no. Now, as a director, you said you've given us light on the directorial aspect of life. Now, my question is, does everybody calling shot behind camera is a director? Why?
If you call yourself a director, and for once you've done a movie, 2, 3, and you've not seen any of the movie in the market, I don't think you should be called a director. Though director in some area are not the owner of the job they direct. Like you said, somebody said that not all producers are filmmakers. He's right. Not all all producers are filmmakers, because someone can, out of discussion, oh, are you into this? Yes. If I bring 1 million, what will you do? Don't worry, now I can direct, I can produce. So like he said, not all producers are filmmakers. Reason, you can maybe coincidentally meet somebody, either your neighbor or a friend, you meet somewhere. Oh, I see one of your movie, blah blah blah. Yeah, you do act now. Yes, I act. I even act. I do this. Okay, if I bring 1 million, if I bring 2 million, will you help me? Why not? I can help you. Meanwhile, the person has not produced before, or he has not directed before. But that is an opportunity for him to go. He discussed with the person, 1 million, 2 million, God helping him or her, collects the money, call people around him, bros, bring camera, you come and act, you come and do this. He is not produced. He has now produced a movie. Probably he might say, okay, let me direct. That doesn't make him a director. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
After directing, some of those movies end up in their cupboards. You cannot be a director or a producer. None of your content is in the market. You don't have a movie in the market, you don't have a movie in any of our television stations. I don't think you are making it. You are not moving up. You are not a director, you are not a producer. You just have an opportunity to do that which you have done.
All right, if I can understand you vividly, you've just answered a very wonderful question for audience there to understand that there are disparities, there are differences. You've just made it very clear to people that not everybody that calls shot
Is a director.
is a director. That's what I want to hear, because a lot of people seem not to understand it. I was trying to find out, because you've given us headroom on the issue of producing and directing, and you've told us much about, what do you call that name, that guild?
DGN, Directors
Guild
Guild of Nigeria.
Nigeria. You said they have split, but we don't have that information. Maybe we'll find out. But being somebody who is an old horse in the movie industry, definitely you must have garnered a whole lot of information about it. But who you are in the industry should, at least one should be able to get this kind of information. I want to ask, what makes a good movie, so that people out there will understand when they are watching good movie?
All right. A good movie starts from the script, from the story you have at hand. There's a difference between story and script. They are not the same. You might have a good story, a very wonderful story, but if not well scripted, you end up messing up the story itself. And as such, the marketer, whichever platform you want to use in marketing the story, might not go well. So when you have a good story and you have a good screenplayer who puts the story in order the way it should go, that's first step. Second, your picture. You look for a good picture. Then you look for good actors who interpret the story who will play the script the way it is, screenplay. Once you're able to get these qualities, once you're able to get these facts together, you make a good story, a good film.
Okay, my viewers, let's just go for a short break. My viewers, we so much thank you for listening to us. We've been narrowing down to Nollywood Hangout, and we have a very powerful filmmaker, somebody who has walked all through few corners of Nollywood, if not almost, to understand that Nollywood, it's as an entertainment industry, it is a conglomerate, it is ministerial, it's a craft, it's an employment of labor, it's something you should have passion for, something you should pray for, something you should sit down and then ask yourself if you really want to be a member of Nollywood. It is a pragmatic industry, pragmatic in the sense that it's something that is very practical. It's not a science. It is not science. It's something that everybody is going to visualize. People are going to see what you are doing. It's something people will now know this is what you can do. And we're still going to ask him questions more, but I know he has thrown more light on the issues that is bothering a whole lot of people. Mr. Mechi, thank you for being with us. Thank you for coming. And we still have a lot to ask because we know you are. Experience is going to help a lot of people out there to understand what Nollywood is all about more.
Thank you.
Now, having walked through life and through the hurdles of Nollywood as a director and as a producer, as an actor, is it not too cumbersome? Is it not too challenging that you're handling these three platforms, which is the biggest, director, an actor, and as a producer?
Here, like you drop it, it is, to tell the truth. And that's why when you are working as a producer, director, the first thing you do, hence you have these things, these three platforms all together to yourself, you are producing, you are directing, and you are at the same time sponsoring the movie. You now get into your head, I need professionals around me.
You feel you don't understand during the course of our discussion, please drop your message on our platform. We have given you the number of our platform, which is showing on the screen right now. Just you remember, you just drop your WhatsApp or your message on that particular number, and then he's going to. It seems, Mr. Mechi, we are getting some feedback on our WhatsApp. Some people are asking this question. One says from. It seems like an Igbo name, Uzochukwu Amaka, is giving us a question. He's asking you this question. He says, "Sir, you didn't explain much about. You didn't explain much about what makes a good movie. You only talked about story and scripting." And to us, it's a little bit contradicting when you say you could have good story and you don't have good script. For us, how we understood it from the film school we passed through is story and screenplay or scripting is the same thing, except if you are talking about that there is a difference between scripting stroke story stroke interpretation. Except if you are telling us that there is a difference between scripting, story, stroke interpretation, that the way you interpret a story on set is different from scripting. So if it is what you are saying, then you are right. But if you are telling us that story is different from scripting, that we're a little bit confusing, sir. Please put us through.
All right, who's Zamaka, right?
Yes.
I want to tell you, there's a great difference between story and script. They are not the same. Or rather, let me put it more in a way you will understand it. Story, then we call it synopsis. Synopsis. Story can come in a sheet of paper. I have a story. I meet you as a director. As a director, please, or a producer, please, I have a story. Look at my story. When I was born, I was 2 years when my mother died. My father married another woman, and they started maltreating me. And now I'm a millionaire. I went back, or I started wickeding my father and his wife. And all. This is a story. Do you understand? So you need a good script writer who will now break down this story to make it to be a script. This is just a story or a synopsis. It can come on 4 or 5 paragraphs. It's a story, or even 2. A good screenplayer can break it down to make it from 1 to 20 parts. Are you getting it now? So they are not the same. They are story and script. So when you talk about interpretation, it is now when you now transform the story into script. When you now transform the story into script by somebody who plays very well, who breaks it down very well, cook up the story, make it to be interesting. You understand now? You now call. It's either you have your own money to produce it, or you give it to a producer who will now look into it. Either he buys it or you sponsor. You now get your artist. Those you know that can interpret the script. Now it's no longer a story, it's not a script ready to be played. You now bring your artist who will now give you what you want, what you have in your head when writing the story or when script playing the script. I don't know if you're getting me. You get those people who will now fit into the script, into your story. Because if you make up the story by yourself as a producer, you have people in mind. You have people in your head. I'm making this story for so person. I'm making this story for so. If it's a glamour, you have people in mind. If it's a comedy, if it's a contemporary, if it's anything, you have people in mind that this person, this woman, this guy can interpret this story for me. So when you're talking about interpretation comes after the script, after the story, born into the script, from script, and that becomes movie.
All right, Mr. Amechi, Divine Link. Questions kept coming, but we don't have that time to be asking. But you have our number on your screen. You can call that number or you WhatsApp that number, even if you can't get us. Because I see that a whole lot of calls are coming, a lot of messages are coming on my phone, jamming. And Chideka Ifoma from Imo State is trying to find out from you. Sir, I don't really agree with you when you said that story is different from scripting. What we were told is that when you are given a script, it simply means that that script is a story. That what we understood and from the school we passed through is that once a script is given to you, it is a story. You are reading that story. Now, some stories on set can be interpreted the way the director wants it. In most cases, scene 1 cannot be scene 1 the way it is being written. Scene 2 might not be. The director might look at it from a point and then decide to make change based on what he has seen on set. I don't know if the person is right.
Yeah, she is not right. If I'm right?
Yes, from Imo State.
Yeah, like I said earlier.
Let us take a picture. All right. We love you so much, and you are bamboozling our friend with a whole lot of questions, and we're going to come back, just a little break for him to cool off. It's not easy. All of us are on a hot seat. I don't think if you understand the dynamics that is involved here right now. It's a different thing when you're asking questions to an actor or just a producer. But when it's a director, everybody wants to know. If you say you're a director, people are going to bamboozle you. That's what you are bamboozling my friend here with a whole lot of questions. But he needs to cool off. I need to cool off. Hit that little button. And this is King Chuksi TV, a very wonderful platform where you can find a whole lot of hosts, your celebrities, friends, well-wishers, people that are going to enlighten you more on the movie. People are going to enlighten you on moral, and people are going to enlighten you on even religion. I'm telling you honestly, people are going to enlighten you on things that you don't even, things that are going to encraft you in life, enclave you, environmental. I believe that as we come back to the next stage, you are going to listen to us professionally. But before we leave, we would like you to give just small advice to some of them that are looking up to you to become a producer, a director, actor, costumier. What? Just in a short while, just give them a little advice.
So, my advice to the upcomers now is that I have to tell you the truth. Movie making is not a child's play. Acting is not a child's play. When you are coming into the industry, like a lot of us, we entered as actor. We had in mind that we're coming to act. But when we now entered, we found out that if ease doesn't go in the industry, words must go. I started with the likes of Mr. Ibu, Desmond Elliott. I will know how we hustle these things, looking for roles. But later, like I said earlier, I think it was 1999, I had my first experience facing camera. In that same movie, it was John Okafor, Mr. Ibu, who called me. We were friends, though, walking up and down looking for jobs. Looking on every poster we see on the streets to see if we see audition or whatever that has to do with movie. Then we suffered a lot. There was nothing like production houses as it is now. Nothing like production houses. We moved from one hotel, wherever we know people, movie people gathered. No phone call. There was no phone call. No phone call. So you use your leg to walk. You might wake up in the morning with just 100 naira in your pocket, and that 100 naira you have to go to about 4 or 5 places in the name of audition or whatever, you know. So at times you trek, at times we lap ourselves. Me, Ibu, even this Mondelia, to lap ourselves in a bus. Come to Winnie's Den, you buy food. Then there was love in the industry. There was love. We eat with one plate. Once one person will just buy a plate of food like this, maybe 100 naira or 150. 5 or 4 people, you gather and eat it with happiness and joy. And you are okay, you drink water, you know, you drink water. The likes of Max Smith Oshendo, the AGN task force chairman now, or then. So we continue like this, building ourselves, suffering then and smiling because we know we are going to somewhere. So people of these days, my advice to you is this. If you want to join the industry, have it at the back of your mind that it's not all about roses. You have to go through a lot. You have to get through a lot. At times you eat in the location, at times you don't eat. At times you go to location, they will tell you today you will shoot. On getting there, one thing leads to another, the director or the producer didn't meet up on taking your role, you still go back. Probably you have only the last card you have cannot bring you out to tomorrow. You still find a way to come out tomorrow. That is the struggle. In all these things, when you go to location, the director will face those who are stars. There are people who are in the hotel of 15,000, 20,000, 12,000, 10,000. You will rush them to make sure they leave the hotel as to curtail your price. Then you as a beginner, some of them will find themselves rubbing shoulder with like an artist asked me, a young girl has at one time asked me, she said, why am I being neglected? Those people you are facing, do they have 2 heads? Do you understand? Do they have 2 heads? I let her know that this thing, there is a way we do it. She worried and left the location. So after some days, I still call her back. I let her know that this is the way it is. I cannot face you. So as a beginner, you have to face all these things. At times you go, you will see them feeding the stars. Meanwhile, you are hungry. You have to endure. You have to know it that before going to location, make sure you have above 1,000. Depends on where you're going to. You have like 2,000-3,000 in your pocket, and all these things. Make sure you are cool-headed. Make sure you are humble. And don't believe, especially our young ladies, don't believe in using what I have to get what I want. It doesn't work that way. You will keep on sharing that thing you have until you are shared out of the industry. because the industry is just like a marketplace. It's just like a higher institution, you know, where everybody comes and lives his life the way he wants it or the way she wants it. So everybody believes that that is the way it is. Those who are making it in the industry are those who are focused. Those who swallow their saliva and say, I must make it in the industry, come rain, come shine. Do you understand? It's not for those who are in a haste. It's not for those who are so desperate to do anything. No. You calm down your spirit. You calm down yourself. You learn. You listen to your director. You listen to your producer. You calm down on the set. You respect everybody. You don't talk too much. You don't steal nothing. Just be a good girl. Be a good boy. And the director is monitoring you. Like me. If you're in my set and you are that calm and you are good in acting, nothing stops me from picking you up and nurture you. Are you getting it? I must pick you up and nurture because I know you have what I want as a director. Do you get it? But those that believe and there comes, maybe the same thing where they get, I get, let's do it this way. I promise you, you will go act that same way you came in. Because even if acting is not your career or your style, your destiny, you end up sharing your body. Maybe by the time you come for a meeting where they have about 10 directors, 10 producers, and 20 PMs, you look at yourself, and out of that, those 50 of men sitting there, about 40 or 45 has slept with you. You will be ashamed of yourself. Are you getting it now? So I advise you, as a newcomer, look for a good director, a good production house, register with them, follow them up. When you follow them up, if the director is not giving you what you want, you call him. One-on-one discussion. Do you understand? So, I believe by so doing, you will make it.
All right, it is another wonderful time, another wonderful day, a different day altogether, a special day, still on King Chukski TV. We're here today with a very special individual. Like we said the other time we met, we told you to keep subscribing to King Chukski TV, and then make sure you let people know and drop your comment positively. We have a very honorable and sweet brother who is in our midst. We are trying to also let him understand why we're here, but no distant time is going to dissect some of the things we are going to ask him based on the fact of Nollywood and things he has gone through in Nollywood. I don't really know much about him, but I know in introduction, definitely you will get to know much about him. He's no other person than Honorable Comrade. What's her name? Monday. Okay, Honorable Comrade Monday Uwadiegu. God bless you. Welcome to this program. For the sake of the viewers, I've just mentioned a name, and when I was trying to mention your name, I was finding it very difficult because definitely the name is too long for me to mention. But for clarity purposes, I would like you to explain yourself.
All right, thank you, sir. I said before, I'm Honorable Comrade Monday Uwadiegu, filmmaker, and also a politician. I'm from Delta State, to be precise, Passat local government area, Delta State.
All right, Honorable. Let me borrow that word, Honorable. I think that one will be best, so that I won't be biting my tongue. This is Nollywood Hangout. We mostly discuss issues that are bothering us in Nollywood, things we can do to improve in craft, things we can do to energize our craft, how to improve in our artistic tendency, in our improvisation, in our ad-lib, in our attention to details. All these things encompasses in Nollywood. And it is also a platform for training and reorientation for those of them that are coming up in Nollywood. Can you tell us what you really understand, in your own little experience, what you really understand by Nollywood?
my own understand that the Nollywood is a Nigerian film industry where a lot of activities are being put together to make up the film. It's more like theater art, but this one is a big umbrella covering all the actors and actresses in the industry called Nollywood, Nigerian filmmaking. Because it's like we have a Bollywood and Gollywood.
Alright. In a nutshell, what they're trying to say is it is a Nigerian entertainment industry where craft is harnessed, artistic ability is harnessed. Okay. What part are you in that knowledge? Because we have segments, we have partitions, we have ministries like costuming ministry, directorial ministry, makeup ministry. I have the language I use ministry because every part you find yourself is a ministry. You need to improve. So which part are you in Nollywood?
The industry, I'm a production manager, which is the PM.
How long have you been into the production management?
Up to 3 years now, 4 years.
Wow, that must be very enticing. Then you must have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the issue of production. Can you tell us a little bit about that production management? What is it all about? Do you people have a guild? Do you belong to the guild? Are you a member of the guild? How do you manage it? What is it all about?
Okay. The process of being as a production manager, though I have not fully registered with the guild, because before I thought maybe the guild and there is PM and the producers, they are under
one umbrella.
Yeah, they are one umbrella. According to the professional way, they are under one umbrella. But later I learned that the PM separated themselves from the AMP. Because before I do hear that both of them are together. So since then I have not registered with them. So let me see confirm more detail if they are still together or they have separated. So that's why I have not registered with them. But hopefully very soon I will join my brothers because I love associating with my colleagues. So I said okay, but we all did the job successfully. Aside that, then the other one is in terms of management. Because I'm in that same location. Though I was the production manager of that job. But most of the planning was not done by me. It was done by the producer. He planned wrongly. If I said let's do this, he said no, we planned wrongly. So I was facing the challenge to correct those errors. Try. I have sleepless nights concerning it to make everything. I said okay, I will come up with good idea. Then the next morning, if I said let's work, the producer will not give me his own idea again. That you have to do what I asked. I said, sir, you employed me to manage your job. Then allow me to do my own work. So after a lot of argument, we settled everything. Now finished the job. Then since then, I told myself that there's no way I can manage any production again if I'm not the one that planned the production from the beginning to the end. Because some of the producers will plan wrong, and everything will now boil down to the PM, production manager. If there's an error, they'll say they are not capable of being a PM. But they didn't know the root. They didn't know the root of their planning. So I said, okay. And during the production, I learned a lot from the director. She called me one-on-one and said I should see that. I said, okay. And I said as a production manager, there are a lot of things I need to avoid in terms of talking to people, especially if I'm not the one that employed that person, because I don't know the arrangement between the employer and the employee. So I said, okay. In terms of expatiate on what I said, okay. He said, this is how to handle one or two things. taught me that I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him because I say nobody knows it all. So everything about me, any location I go to, even if the location is just for children, I must learn one or two things. Either good
All right, Honorable, we've listened to you extensively. Our viewers are also listening to you. I believe they will troop in with questions. We have our number on the screen. It's a WhatsApp number and also a call number. Any moment from now, they'll be sending text message regarding what you said. Questions will come up. Viewers, we are expecting your questions and keep it positive. Whatever it is a discussion program. This is Nollywood Hangout. Honorable, you are into the managerial aspect of Nollywood, which is PA, and there is a guild. I also subscribe the fact that you want to go far, other than what is that thing you want to do outside PA production manager? Is there anything you want to do in Nollywood other than PM, above PM in life? Are you aspiring something else apart from this?
Yeah.
So can we know?
Thank you, sir, for the question. So, when I entered the Nollywood industry, sir, I didn't start with I came like an actor. So I started acting, and I became a production assistant, which is so I was still pushing with acting, but I found out that it's like acting, I'm finding it difficult. That I said, okay, what will I do? So now I come up with it. So let me switch to crew. So I like to amongst all the crew. First I went into props. I started doing props gradually. I said, and I switch to makeup. To an extent, I said, let me stop. Reason, sit down and rethink. So let me go into production management. But at first, I thought that maybe being a production manager, which is PM, your work is just for you to do breakdown of the script, call artists and one or other thing. Not knowing that it has a lot of work inside production for the stage I'm today. So people were telling me, why not stop a production manager? PM, they don't have anything. What do you know about PM? This and that. So I beg, just leave them. I just make people in the location, this and that. I said, PM is not just what you think. They do something. PM is the manager of the company. And as a PM, if you know yourself, climb higher. And from being a production manager, you can become a producer. You become a producer. Then by the time you start producing, you will not find things difficult. It will be easy for you. Though there must be a challenge. So I'm trusting God that very soon I will leave the field and move to producing area. But before I will leave, before I will stop as a production manager, I will make sure I raise up to 3 to 4 persons that will take over from nothing. Because if you are being given a talent and you are the only one using the talent, if you die or you live instead, that talent is waste. But when you impart on someone, that talent is still there. Those people you imparted on, they will remember you for that. So my next move now is either being a producer, of which I know very soon I will be a producer. And I want to go into directing, but I don't want to jump in. At least I have to learn 1 or 2 things. Although I did theater art in school, but still yet, still trying to move ahead, to study more about the field. can call that particular thing we call directing. Because I know that directing is not about just saying action. There are a lot of techniques of which hoping on God financially so that I can push myself to the higher road, study about it. Then after the study, I will attach myself to one of those big directors to learn from them again, to add to my own so that I can become something in the future. And among all the directors I've worked with, I learned one or two things from them. I work with a lot of directors. So in any location, I try to learn one or two things. Because if no knowledge is lost, in every nonsense, there must be research. So, like those, the director Amy and director David Dumiwa, aka Fishpool.
Yeah, seems to have had that name.
Yeah, so though I've not worked with that Ugezu, but I've met with him one-on-one, and I pray to God that someday I will work with him, and I would love to work with him because I want to learn from him. Because I know that daddy has a lot to offer to the Nollywood industry, and also the other man, Amani. I've worked with him in a location, but I was not the production manager. I'm an artist in that movie, which is The Gods in Context. Okay. So I love that movie, and I don't know what African Magic sees in that movie. They do repeat them every three months. They must show that movie every 3 months in the year. They must repeat that thing. It's an interesting movie, and I'm hoping that, praying that one day, someday I will still work with the director because I want to learn with him. So the thought of doing that job was not easy because when I came to that location, they gave me the PA gave me his role to play, and when I saw the role, when looking at the director, his face, I was scared. So there was a lot of challenge, but at the end, I learned a lot from him. Because first of all, he will shout at you, insult you. Not that he's trying to oppress you, but he wants you to learn more, and I enjoy working with him.
You've met them in person, you've worked with them. The two names you just mentioned, like, have you met them in person? Have you worked with them, or just heard about them and then you decided to probably watch their films, you decided to love them?
Yeah, someone like Daddy Ugezu.
Okay.
I have not worked with him.
Okay.
But I have met with him. I have not had the chance to discuss my father and son, which I'm hoping that one day definitely. Then the other person, which is Amani.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked with him and I enjoy his work. Which is, that was, I guess it should be 2018, if I'm not mistaken, 2019.
Okay.
Who did one job at Rapana. The Gods in Context, which I love that movie very much. I don't know what African Magic sees in that movie. They keep repeating that movie every 3 months, every year. So I love that movie. And he's a kind of person that it will attack you.
He's not going to kill you.
He's not going to kill you. He will insult you. Not that he hates you, but he wants you to pick up as a man. So I'm hoping to work with him. Let me face that challenge. Even if he slapped me, I won't give up because I want to learn more. Then fish, talk of fish, I've worked with fish up to 3 to 4 times. The first movie I met him, I went as a makeup artist. Then the second movie, I went as a props. Then the third one, I was the opportunity to manage the job. So we reasoned one-on-one. So I love working with him. I'm hoping and thanking God for the opportunity he gave to me to meet him. And I also pray for God. One day, I would love to work with Ugezu and Amani.
These names you mentioned, I think I've heard that of Fish as a very prolific director. And I do watch movies a lot, and that's why I gather some of my experience. I've watched Ugezu's film, and the young man you called, the other person you called, Amani Germany, a little bit, 1 or 2 times I've seen his films, and I just hope things will. But when you mention God in context, some questions, messages were just trooping in. This one says, I don't know, he says his name is Too Fine. Yes, Too Fine. He said, it seems the way he put it here, it seems he knows you very well. He said, my comrade, I am so happy to have had you speaking on this particular platform. And I can see there is a change. I was with you on set on God in Contest when you were asked to deliver He said, I was with you in God's in Contest when you were asked to play the role of a town crier. You were having issue at that point in time with delivering your lines or getting characterization properly. And you were removed and another person was placed. But watching you now, I can see you have improved a lot. I am proud of you, my brother. Can you please tell us what motivated you going into PM, what inspired you, and you are speaking, the way you are speaking is making us happy wherever we are right now. God bless you, Too Fine. I don't know if you have had this name before.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, my big brother. My big brother, Kes Too Fine. His real name is Kevin Oyacholem, aka Kes Too Fine or Kes Too Fine. He's a props asset.
Okay.
So he owns Kes Too Fine concept, and he's my brother.
Oh.
He's my relation from Tana side.
No wonder he trooped in immediately.
So
I must be very proud of you.
He's among those who raised me. Though I love working with him. In any location that we find ourselves together, we do have issues. We must quarrel. Both of us, we must quarrel, fight. But at the end, we'll still do the work. If you want to, we go say Monday come and do this. So I work with him little. That was when I said I went into props. I said, then we call me, say Monday, we are going to location, you are going to help me. I say, okay. I will now move to location. If we get there, you say, Monday, go and do this. Without even telling me this is how to do it. You say, Monday, go and do this. I will go there. If I make error, you will come and correct the error. So I tell you it. Then one day, he said, Monday, go and do this. And I called him and said, senior brother. He said, eh? I said, this one you asked me to go and do this. Did you even teach me how to do this thing? He said, am I mad? I said, no, why would I be mad? I said, fine. I don't need to teach you. I believe you are one of those theater art students. And I heard that you are the props and manager. I said, yes. He said, okay, go and do it. If you cannot do it, you remain there. Then I will go there. It's okay. I will do it. Then if there is a facing child, I will call him. He will come. We will just do 1 or 2 things. I said, okay. Even up to now, even if he's not there, I can say Monday, go and block this job for me. I will go there. But he's a stubborn man. He's a stubborn brother. So both of us are like cat and rat, but best of friends. So I love working with him. And going down back to the movie, The Girls in Contest, when I was giving a role as a tank crier. So then, it was not easy anyway. I came to that location to assist I would say my friend, my brother and my boy, which is the PM of the job. The PM of the job, which is Dixon Chinedu. Before he started managing that job, then I worked with me as a PA. So when I heard that he's one managing the job, I said, okay, let me go and assist. Even if, for them to, so that let them not waste money paying the PAs, even if it's my boy. Okay. I told him no need of people picking. I will assist you people. That will say no. That I can't come to his location and come and do it. Yeah, I say it doesn't mean. Even if I'm managing a job, I still love doing the work of PA. Because I could remember my director, which is Kevin Otiti, when I was with him. He said, if you want to learn fast in Nollywood, start from PA. And I said, as a PA, production assistant, you will learn a lot of things if you bring yourself down. Because you work with everybody. You work with the producer, the director, the costume department, both the artists, you will work with them. So if you are intelligent enough, you will learn one or two things from them. So that was how I learned some of those things. I said, yeah, so let me do it. He said, no, even including the producer of the movie, which is Kichos, who the producer of the Because It Cortex. He said, no, Monday, no, you can't do PA for me. I said, okay, why am I here? He said, don't worry. Even if it's a location welfare, come and eat location welfare. You can't do PA. So I said, okay, yes. And I stayed with them, I think about 4 days. So it was the first day. And I just came, as I got to the location, the PMD even allowed me to rest or to even drink water. And I just alight there from the bike. He now gave me the script that I should come and do tank ride. So, and I told him, I didn't come here to come and act. He said, you must do it. And when I got there, then I saw the director. Only the director face alone scared me. So when I look at the director, I was even scared. But I have to summon courage. So I was facing some challenges instead of delivering the line, because the line was from like bunk line. Okay. So I was having challenge. The director would say, get out from there. I would say, sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. So we did that to about 6 times. If you're there and that we were using tape, maybe the producer would say I should go and pay for his tape. So we were doing it. Then I also love the continuity manager, the person of Jasper. So they encouraged me. So if this had to do it, I said, okay. That was when I did it, at least. And I got about, should I say 40% of the acting. I said, okay, thank God. So that was how I did that part. And I'm so much happy that each time that movie is show, I was receiving a phone call. Monday, we are watching your movie. I said, okay, I'm improving. So I love that movie so much. I want to appreciate the director and manage it. And I know one day I'll work with him.
All right. Comrade Monday, we are so happy to have you in this platform. We're happy. We are listening to you, and the audience are also listening to you extensively, the way the road you passed through and you're still passing through. Potholes road to destiny. You've shown us that you are geared towards improving on your managerial expertise and moving from probably production manager to producer. Extensively, you can also become a director. That means from somebody who started from a PA, going to a director is a total failure. But it now depends on, from what I've heard, that depends on how and where you learned it and how did you update yourself individually, online, listening to good speakers and motivational speakers, and then read extensively to understand what filmmaking is all about. We have seen your journey, we've had your journey, and we're going to go for a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to ask you what is like your advice to people out there, and what inspired you to become to be in Nollywood. So when we come back, we're going to ask you one or two things so that we can close this particular discussion. My Viewers, I would like to thank you immensely for listening to us. We are also waiting patiently for your questions. A lot of them are trooping. We are not going to answer all. We'll answer those ones we can answer. But we are surely going to give you the best. This channel is Kinchuski TV. We implore you to subscribe to it, and then you're going to have a whole lot of goodies and information, education, celebrities of all kinds. We're going to listen to them. We're going to interview them here. So we'll be feeding you from time to time through our medium of different celebrities, different individuals, different motivational speakers. And I'm assuring you that one day you're going to see PLO Lumumba, who happens to be the Kenyan motivator in this particular studio, to speak to us on issues that are bothering mankind from Nollywood Hangout. And keep subscribing and don't touch that dial. As we are coming back to this, the second stanza, you will hear more from this, our comrade, our honorable Monday, who has passed through a whole lot of journey. And so, thank you for coming back. Thank you for meeting us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We have listened to you extensively, I believe. A lot of questions are coming from different quarters. One thing I like about Nollywood Hangout is most people, when you teach them what the movie is all about, they will go home to interrogate their gobos. They will go home to interrogate their motivational speakers to know if actually what has been discussed on this program is true. Because I know a lot of people who have gone home to ask questions based on what we have really discussed here. I also remember in the book of Acts of Apostles, marshal out the word of God to the people of Maria and Thessalonica. They will go back and interrogate the Bible to know if actually what Paul was saying is true. They will interrogate. So that is why anything we say here, people will always troop in with questions, ask us questions, because probably they must have gone through Google or their craft work to know exactly what we say is true. So one of them here, Okechukwu Okonkwo, said, what is your advice to people that wants to join Nollywood?
My advice to them is, Nollywood is a big industry, one of the largest organization in the world, if I'm not mistaken, and it's accommodating. And it has helped a lot of youth, especially the unemployed. Nollywood have employed a lot of persons to become something great in life today. I want to say thank you. The floor is open. There is no fence or gate that is blocking them to come into Nollywood. But one thing I want to tell you, that if you don't have patience, tolerance, I don't think you can grow in the industry, in the Nollywood industry. Because you meet a lot of persons from different backgrounds, will insult you, do one or two things. If you don't know how to tolerate, there's no way you move. And secondly, you have to bury your pride. If you want to succeed in the industry, you bury your pride. So it's an open field. And secondly, one of the challenges we are having in Nollywood, people don't longer go for audition. And there was a day we placed a call. We called one girl that we are doing audition. The girl said, I don't go to audition again. I'm bigger than audition. After I've been acting, I've acted up to 10 movies, so how will you come in to come for an audition? I said, okay, sorry, man. Don't go for me. People no longer go for audition. If you want really excel, you must attend audition. Nobody that prove audition, even the superstars, there are some jobs that will go to the audition, they will be audition. Even when I was in school, if we are having any production in my department, we are the lecturer, we do audition. They audition the lecturers. So nobody that broke audition. You will pass through audition, and secondly, you have to learn, study more about filmmaking. Go to online, download articles that have to do with film. You attend seminars, study what film is all about, and you will improve. And one of those things again, everybody want to be an actor. Everybody want to be a superstar. Everybody cannot be an actor. And if you're acting and not making progress, what you need to do, rethink. Okay, what will I do? Switch to crew. If you move to crew, maybe you'll be recognized in your own profession. Then you start moving. In that process, you will not build yourself. Don't stick to yourself to say, I want to be an actor alone, and you know that you are not making progress. Try go to any of the school, attend any of the seminar all about film, study. If you want to go into costume makeup, props. All of us are still in the Nollywood. So there's no reason why people will still that you know that you're not making moves. You are still killing yourself. Tell someone, I want to be a star, I want to be a star, I want to be like Mercy Johnson, this. And you know you are not good. You still want to remain there. And none of us, we are aiming high. I want to be like Mercy Johnson, this and that. And we cannot pay the price those people pay. Anything that you want to go to, you have to pay the price. In the sense that we pass through a lot of challenges.
Can we go to a short break? And we have people that are sponsoring this program. They are waiting for a short break, and they just do their video so that we can quickly come back. Thank you for listening to us. We are still on Comrade Monday, who is actually dissecting this particular perspective. We have had his talk on how to climb and how to make it in Nollywood and how to become an icon. We are so happy to have had it, but we are still going to come back after this short break, this dialogue. We are so happy to have him, and we're going to hear more of him. We're going to hear a lot of things. I believe he has a lot of things in store, and we're going to achieve whatever we have set as aims, as objective in this particular program. We are going to get it from anybody that is going to see on this scene. But meanwhile, let us just have a little breakdown for people that are sponsoring this program so that they can easily prepare their product. Thank you. Welcome back. Comrade Monday, you've been talking on this particular issue. We have some questions, but those questions are not going to be related again because of time factor. All right, Nelly says, we love the way you are marshalling out your points and you are driving your thought on Nollywood, how one can improve, perspective, prospects, revelation, that they are very happy. They would also want you to expand more, but we are not going to go into that because of time factor. Maybe in some other subsequent interviews, we are going to highlight more on some of these. They are coming in like rain. It seems like people are buying into your cause. They are buying into your program. They are buying into your ideology about Nollywood build-up. But so far so good. We want to thank you for coming up to give us your perspective on Nollywood. We hope that whenever we invite you, that we will also make our time to say more on this. Your brother, you said too fine also. People say, my brother, I'm proud of you. I wish I am there with you to also say more on Nollywood, but you have said it all. God bless you. That's your brother, too fine. And that means you are almost becoming that which you say you want to be. If somebody can be praising you like that, a lot of questions are coming. So we hope to see you some other time, and we believe that each time we call you, or anytime we call you, you're going to give us your attention to at least throw more light about Nollywood and how to progress, how to be meticulous, how to improve in our artistic world. Thank you, Mr. Comrade Monday, for coming. God bless you. God bless you. And my viewers, we have come to the conclusion of this particular discussion. We hope to see you some other time. Like we said, this is King Chuski TV. Don't make that mistake. We have a lot of things you need here. We are going to come up with other celebrities, those ones you've seen on television. We are going to engage them here. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to hear people, we're going to bring them. I don't want to call names, but I know we're bringing them here so that you can listen to them, you can hear them, and know what is like their own driving force towards Nollywood. Keep watching this particular platform. God bless you.